So something like that, that devil, for example, how many hours did it take you to make that thing? Because that thing's huge.
Yeah. That was, I think, like 8 or 9 months.
Months? Every single day just working on it?
Yeah.
That's insane.
So stupid.
BruKnows, he knows. BruKnows, what you trying to find out? 3, 2, 1, BruKnows starts now.
Welcome to another episode of BruKnows. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're trying to grow the page. Subscribe. If you don't follow the boy on the gram, follow the boy on the gram. Trying to grow that page too, obviously, right? Today I'm super pumped. I actually have Adam Dougherty, the KreatureKid, as he's known. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? Are we building up YouTube? Is that the main focus?
We're building it all. We're building it all. This is on YouTube though, mainly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think we should be getting this on other platforms soon, huh? Yeah, soon.
TikTok? Bruno on TikTok?
Yeah, Bruno is on TikTok. I can't figure TikTok out though.
It's the worst.
Yeah, dude, I posted my first video. It was like a cool little concept video, just like a lifting video.
Yeah.
Basically, I have a huge friend, and I was like doing leg press, and I like kind of get tired and like fall off the leg press, and he just like picks me up with one hand and like puts me back on. And that got like 4.5 million views.
Yeah.
And nothing else like hits anything close to that. Now I get like a couple hundred views, and I'm like so confused. But I gained like 20,000 followers off the video, but now I can't figure it out.
That's how mine was. Yeah. I started TikTok during the start of quarantine.
Okay.
And I was finishing up one of my most viral pieces.
Yeah.
For some reason, like I was finishing this thing, and then I during the start of COVID, I posted my first TikTok, which was me finishing it, and then my one of my first YouTubes.
Yeah.
And it blew up both.
Wow.
That video on YouTube has like 25 million.
That's crazy.
And then on TikTok, it was just like million after every little stupid video I posted at. And it blew up to where I have like 500,000 on TikTok now. And
dude,
like,
that's so crazy.
I think I have like 200 subscribers, 200,000 on YouTube.
Wow.
And then I was like, so my video, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And my YouTube's blowing up. And everyone's like, man, I bet you're freaking making all the money. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, you got to throw commercials on it. And I was like, I hate commercials. Why would I do that? I don't want commercials on my art. And they were like, no, man, you get the money from the commercials. And then I did that, and I was like, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
But also, I'm so anti-commercials on art, specifically my art, because I hate commercials. But now I get it, because it's part of the game.
Dude, so no commercials on there yet?
No, there's commercials now.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, well, shoot, there's my freaking phone bill, right?
Yeah, dude.
So I get it, but I hate it.
Yeah.
But I haven't had anything hit since. But it was interesting how it was hitting on both platforms at the same time. I think it might be, I don't know if it was a timing thing. I think it might be just the subject.
Yeah.
But whatever that algorithm is, I don't know what it is. I see people where they try to figure out the algorithm. I'm like, all right, you got to post every 2 weeks, and you got to make sure it's this, right? And then that's this amount of views.
But it changes so fast.
It does. They change it on you.
Yeah.
I think it's just
do your thing.
Yeah, just do your thing.
People like it.
And if you get lucky like me, now you maybe can make, some money on it, I guess. But
So you're not like a social media guy really even, huh? You're just like, you hate it.
I hate it.
But it's crazy that all your platforms are booming and you're just like, I fucking hate this.
Well, that's what's nice is I'm grateful because I do create interesting content.
Yeah.
Because I make weird crap.
Yeah.
But I hate the game. I hate playing the game of social media. I've unplugged from TikTok because I used it as a tool to get funding for a project. And then I got the funding for that project. So I was like, okay, I don't need that tool at this moment. And I put it in a drawer. But I know eventually I got to pick it back up again, which is like freaking the worst.
I'm like a third-party TikTok user. And what I mean by that is like my wife watches a ton of TikTok in bed, and I just sit there and I'm like, oh, that's funny. And then I'm not like, even on Instagram, it's not like I'm ever there like consuming content.
Yeah.
I just jump on, like, here's my post. All right, jump off, But I am a big fan of YouTube. I just enjoy, like, there's videos for everything. Like, absolutely everything.
Yeah. I like the teachy side of it. I started on my YouTube. I have a lot of like behind the scenes and like, let's learn how to make this thing and let's do that like that. I like that. Obviously they don't do as well, but I think it's just I've unplugged from a lot of it because I think it is very. I just get depressed.
Yeah.
You just get in that slum of like comparing yourself and seeing people succeed, and you're like,
why isn't this video doing as good as theirs?
You know, you're like, oh, well, they're way better than me. You know, that kind of crap.
Is your space like competitive? Because I'm just so curious. I've literally the reason I even had to have you on, I've just like never seen that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like at all.
Sorry I didn't bring anything.
So weird.
I figured we'll just flash photos of crap, right?
Yeah, dude.
Just show my TikTok.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's competitive in the sense that everybody, like, there's a lot of people who want to do this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who can do things more affordably or more expensive. But what's nice about the arts is no matter what, no one can steal your style.
Yeah.
It's all imagination.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's imagination and execution and knowing the skills of how to execute things a specific way. I mean, you know, I bid on projects that I know other companies are bidding on.
Yeah.
But also I know what those other companies are capable of doing, and I know what I'm doing and how to make my stuff different than what they would even think of.
Right.
So
is there like a corporate side of that where like are there like corporate manufacturers of items like this?
It's all pretty independent.
Yeah.
I mean, the main like as far as like a Kreature shop doing monsters for movies.
Yeah.
You got the head honchos who've been around since the 80s, and those are the young guys who were in the 80s doing all our favorite horror movies, right?
Yeah.
And now they have their own shops, and they're old guys, and they hire a bunch of people to just make monsters for movies.
Yeah.
And I'm the young guy now trying to start my own shop.
How old are you?
32.
32. You had to think about it.
Not very young.
Yeah. I feel like you got an old soul though, you know? I feel like you've seen a lot.
Oh, dude. How old are you?
I'm 27.
Oh my gosh, you're a little guy.
Yeah, just a young boy.
You're already developing things. That's crazy.
How did you even come across this? I feel like it's such a different lane. Like
the monster stuff?
Yeah, just creating stuff. You use clay, correct? Or
yeah, it's all clay. I mean, I started, you know, like 12 years old with clay.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, right? I just got started early, and I just kept on doing it. I wasn't born with any skill.
Yeah.
I just started early, and
so
I just like doing it.
Did your parents do like clay stuff, or
no?
How does a 12-year-old get clay?
Well, my dad was like a engineer. My mom was a spook. Like she loves Halloween.
Yeah.
We do like haunted houses and things. My brother started out. He was kind of he started out with clay, and started working with a local Halloween company making stuff. So that's why clay was lying around, as well as like pen pals through collecting toys and monsters and stuff, through monster conventions.
Yeah.
Right? You're familiar with that.
Yeah. I've actually never been to one, but that's pretty crazy.
They're pretty weird.
Yeah.
As weird as any convention for anything. But it's like friends of friends. Like, you know, I've always had older friends being a kid who likes black and white monster movies, right?
Yeah.
So like older friends who liked making monster stuff, they was like, hey, you should try picking it up. I started as a painter. They're like, hey, you should try sculpting. You're really good at painting. So like it just kind of gradually started that. So and then I eventually just got to being a toy maker, working for toy companies here. And then I moved out to LA to try the movie industry stuff, making full-size things for movies. And then I've been doing that for like 15 years now.
Dude, that's so crazy because I feel like you're so young to have that much experience. You know, they say it takes 10,000 hours to master something, and you probably had that before you were even a full adult.
I mean, mainly just with sculpting. I'm not very good at a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm a good sculptor. I'm a good painter. And I'm good at piecing it together. And I'm still trying to figure out what I'm good at. Yeah. I am a terrible businessman. I know that now. So I'm trying to figure out how to like be a boss and a businessman. I was a terrible boss for a while there.
Yeah.
Money, like managing money is like, I was like, this is great, guys. We're all sitting here, we're working on movie stuff, and everyone's like, have you like thought about like the money thing? I was like, what are you talking about? There's plenty of money. And they were like, they like did the math and like, you're gonna run out of money in like 3 weeks here. And I was like, what? They were like, Google Sheets is a thing, or Google Docs or whatever. And I was like, I don't know any of this. I just had like a notebook with like numbers everywhere.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, right. I'm the artsy brain. I don't know any of that stuff. So I'm learning that now, as if like it seems like you probably learned that business stuff and the techie stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like numbers always like made sense to me, you know, like math, stuff like that. I've always just been like attracted to, even with wrestling or anything like that. It was always something that I like, systems that I can kind of like pick apart and like reverse engineer a little bit. And I just like that lane where I'm like, oh, like if this makes sense, then this makes sense. And if this makes sense, then this makes sense, right? And just kind of like backtracking, right? So whatever like my goal might be, I just like trying to figure out how to get there systematically. Like, what can I do every single day?
Yeah.
Breaking it down into like percentages or like values. And I always enjoy that about like math, for example. It's like, it's always this.
Yeah.
There's like no other option. So you're always either right or wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just like so black and white, right? It's just like, it's either this or that. And then with the creative, sometimes I feel like I could just get lost in the sauce. You're like trying to, you know, even with stuff like this or with content, it's like you start kind of brainstorming some stuff, and then it's like it's not what you originally had thought. And I kind of just get lost in that world. You know, I don't think my like brain works that way. I try to do it. I try to be as creative as possible in that situation, but it's just a little different.
Yeah, I think the furthest math I ever got was math 8. Like it was that bad. Like I redid a couple of them and stuff, and then I dropped it in high school. Because I was doing that bad. And I was doing that bad, but also like getting paid to sculpt full time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do homework because I was like, I have this job due on Friday.
Yeah.
So then it was like my parents were like, obviously you just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this. So they were like, I dropped out like
first so they were supportive of it.
Oh yeah. They were like, he figured out what he's doing. Yeah. So I dropped out like, I think I did like 1 week of 11th grade.
Yeah.
And I left that to just be full-time sculptor. Like sculpting full time in my basement.
That's so gangster. And I mean, you were probably making some pretty crazy things for your parents to just support that, or
yeah. I mean,
especially with your dad as an engineer too.
Yeah, it took him a while to get it.
Yeah,
because he was older, so he grew up with you have to have a day job.
Yeah,
8 to 5. I think it was hard for him to accept that me sitting in my bedroom watching movies and eating peanut butter while sculpting clay thingies would amount to a career.
Yeah.
He wasn't quite seeing that. He wanted to see 8 to 5. You have to go get a job.
And then you make your toys or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, I don't think he ever got to finally see, because he passed away when I was pretty young.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
He never got to see what, like, it become a career.
Yeah.
He still saw me in the basement making things. That was about it. But I think he knew. He was like, hey, he could figure this out.
Yeah, dude. No, that's so cool. Where, with your brother making clay stuff, is he still involved in that world, or is he pretty? Is he like back to normal?
Yeah,
jobs.
He's a special guy.
Yeah.
So my mom takes care of him.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it, but he was very talented for a while there.
Yeah.
He was doing some cool stuff. So I kind of picked up where he fell off. And I kind of worked his dream jobs because he was like really I was into black and white horror movies, Frankenstein, The Wolfman. He was into Predator, Alien, right, Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
And I ended up working for those guys who did those movies.
Dude, that's
so I was just kind of in that world where he wanted to eventually be when he was, my age, when he was a kid. And yeah, so now, I did the run of. I was an employee working for these FX studios, working on the movies, and it was finally just like, no matter what you do, you're always going to be working for someone, and you're always doing what someone else says. So then I got offered the opportunity to just be in charge and just, here's a script, read it. What do you see when you read the script? And just make those things for that movie.
Ooh, what movie was this?
This is the Onix the Fortuitous
Okay.
and the Talisman of Souls.
Okay.
So it just premiered this past weekend at Sundance.
Yeah.
It was a huge one. I ended up working pretty much a year on it, making those things. I showed you. This is the ghouls,
Yeah.
the demon in the box, the 10-foot Abaddon demon. And I ended up spending a year. We did the first 3 months working in my mom's garage for me to just figure out, like, oh, I need to get a shop. I need to, like, hire people. I need to, like, learn how to be, like
Yeah, you can't
accounting.
scale that too, right? Like it's hard to scale something that you're so heavily involved in, right?
Yeah.
So what do your employees do? Like the people that are actually in your studio, like they just grab you clay? Are you sculpting everything yourself?
I try to sculpt everything myself. I bring in sculptors occasionally for I prioritize myself as heads, faces, right?
Yeah.
That's priority. Hands, people do. Ears, people do. I brought in a few sculptors. Foam carving. Me and another sculptor freaking tackled that for the Big Devil. I can kind of delegate where aspects, like where people can
Help.
yeah, like I can see based on skill levels where like you can sculpt this and I know you could do that. But I'm always just kind of like, well, I got to do the heads and the faces, and that's kind of my thing. That's my favorite part. And then there's mold makers, there's welders, right? Because you sculpt it in clay, you need to make a mold of that so you have a negative,
Yeah.
like as out of fiberglass
Yeah.
or stone, and then you cast your rubber or your foam, and that's what you paint, that's what you put hair on, that's what you puppeteer, and you make straps and stuff. We have foam fabricators who like get a roll of mattress foam and can create a form out of that for like bodies and stuff, right? Hair people. So like
That's crazy.
we have a rubber head, and you need to individually one by one put a hair with a little tiny needle in.
One by one?
One by one.
That's crazy.
Takes forever.
Yeah.
I do a lot of that.
Yeah.
If I am picky about my hair work, I usually will do that, like eyebrows, eyelashes. You got to do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Painting. I love painting. I'm a pretty fast painter, but I brought in a team because it's also, Colorado. There's not many, but there's a surprisingly amount of really talented artists here. So, it's finding people and what things you can figure out based on their skill set, based on their personalities, what they would be good at. And I've done a lot of teaching people how to do stuff, and then I know they're capable of doing that,
Have you ever had, something go wrong where maybe you put the wrong person in charge of something and you got to start from scratch? Any like tight deadlines, or is a lot of it just
Nothing yet.
Oh,
Nothing
nice.
yet. I mean, it's all going wrong for sure. It's all terrible, and I hate it. I mean, we're running out of money, and it's not done yet. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And then you just gotta max out credit cards to get it done.
Are these typically like, so let's say, for example, in that situation with that movie, is it like commission pieces, right? So they pay for each piece, or is it something like,
I budgeted out
Yeah.
individual pieces, but normally, because you can't. There's so many steps and materials.
Yeah.
Materials go up, materials go down. It's pretty hard to like break down how much each individual piece costs. So I kind of can get pretty close, and then I can say, this piece is going to cost this much, this will cost this much, but that probably will cost more, and this might cost less. So we'll kind of roll it. It's kind of like a big lump
Yeah.
sum.
okay,
Usually I figure out what's your budget for effects, and they kind of go this much, and I go, okay, well, I think we could tackle these 5 things within that much in this amount of time. But that's kind of like the flat rate, and then we'll just try to achieve as much as we can, as good as we can in the time we can.
so something like that, that devil, for example, how many hours did it take you to make
Dude.
that thing? 'Cause that thing's
that's
huge.
Yeah, that was, I think, like 8 or 9 months.
Months, every
Yeah.
single day, just working on it.
Yeah,
That's insane.
so stupid. So much work, but I mean, it is a beautiful sculpture.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful puppet, and that's the whole point, was to make this beautiful thing. It's in the movie for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
but it looks freaking cool. It's really nice, and then it gets put in a storage unit forever.
Dang, dude.
That's just part of the job. Is we're creating things to be seen on screen for that brief moment, and then that's what sticks in your head. But that project was wonderful because the director let us share. Andrew Bowser, the director, let us share all the behind the scenes because that was actually a Kickstarter funded movie.
Really?
He did a Kickstarter, and I think he said through TikTok mostly is how the funding got made. They made on TikTok like 600,000.
That's crazy.
And then got me involved, and then over like pretty much the duration of almost a year, I was working back and forth with him. We were designing it. We started sculpting it. We built it all, and then we drove it all out to Massachusetts, where we filmed the most of it. We filmed The Devil in L.A. over a weekend, essentially, and got all that stuff for the movie. And then we Andrew premiered it at Sundance in Utah this weekend, where he brought some of the puppets. They had them displayed in the lobby and stuff. It was super awesome, and we got to see, all that work, in the movie finally. Yeah, and it was pretty cool.
Were you out? Sorry. Were you out there in Utah?
Oh yeah.
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 How was that?
The whole team, all the crew at the shop. We all went out there to see the premiere, and it was really great. And it's also, I don't know when this is coming out, but it's streaming right now because it was like the first year Sundance is back in like the past 3 years because of COVID, and they're now offering online. So for like $20, you can watch the movie online now, like as a Sundance viewing, with a Q&A afterwards with Andrew and the cast and stuff, where they talk about making the movie and everything. But it's really cool. I'm so proud of it. And it's the first like KreatureKid effects movie.
Yeah.
So that's my first portfolio piece as an actual company and as a shop. Because KreatureKid's just been my freaking,
alias.
Yeah, this has been my name. This is who I am. Yeah. But now it's like, okay, it's actually a company now. Yeah. And KreatureKid is a studio, a creature studio.
Well, dude, even when I when I was telling my wife last night of, the people I was going to have on the podcast, and I had already showed her your stuff,
Yeah.
And even in the invite I sent you, it says like podcast with KreatureKid. And I'm like pulling it up. I'm like, let me just make sure, like, do I call him KreatureKid? Do I call him Adam?
Yeah. I don't mind.
Are they synonymous?
I answered both. But yeah, because like in the credits for the Onix movie, I was like, all right, I guess it's FX by KreatureKid. And then I was like, well, what's my credit? So now my credit is just KreatureKid is Adam Dougherty. And then KreatureKid team is all these people.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I actually started out as my eBay name when I was like 8. My mom started my eBay account because I'd buy monster toys.
Yeah.
My favorite being the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's
no.
like one of the most famous creature monster designs from the 1950s.
Yeah.
Beautiful design. It's like the fish man. He's got the gills and like
yeah.
It's like the first it's one of the greatest, like, still to this day, it's like one of the greatest monster suit, like a guy in a suit as a monster.
Yeah.
But I was obsessed with that movie since I was like, as far as I can remember. So my mom created my eBay account to just buy more creature toys. So she was like, Creature with a C, KreatureKid's taken. So she's like, all right, just KreatureKid with a K. So it's just been that forever. And then like my Facebook and
it's always available.
Was KreatureKid.
Always available.
It's always available. And now people are like trying
so
to nab
iconic,
it. So I like grab it on everything.
Yeah, dude.
I think the only thing I don't have it on is like my PlayStation account. I think like some jerk, some kid is playing as KreatureKid on everything.
Dang.
It's so annoying.
Hopefully he's good.
I know.
Or he's just so damaging
annoying.
the brain.
I think it's like streaming and stuff too. It's so stupid.
What do you play?
On PlayStation?
Yeah.
Dude, I love Hunt Showdown.
Hunt Showdown?
You ever play that?
No.
It's you're like cowboys in like an open map.
Yeah.
And there's other cowboys, and the map is filled with like AI zombies.
Ooh. Okay.
And you have to like find the bosses zombies and kill them, but then all these other online players are playing as cowboys, and you're like running in the woods.
And they're trying to kill you.
They're trying to kill you, and also like so you get in a battle with a cowboy, and then a zombie comes up and smacks you and stuff.
Yeah.
So
and then they
fun.
take your zombie kill maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so hard.
Were you ever a big fan of like, I think it was even Black Ops that had like the zombie mode. Is that like, did you play that a lot? I feel like
I used to back in the day. I mean, that's just part of the job.
Yeah. Just gotta be involved with
and
all
tax
of it.
write-off is like video games, movies. It's all part of my industry, right?
Yeah.
It is education. I have to be able to, when someone reads me a script or someone says, "No, I want a monster that's like this. It's gooey and this," and I can go, you know, or even like I work with concept artists and they'll submit designs and I'll go, "Okay, look at this movie. That's that," and they go, "Oh shit, I didn't even know." I feel like I have a photographic memory when it comes to monsters because I need to be able to look at something and go, "Oh, that looks very similar to this. That looks similar to this. So we can't do that."
Is that an issue? Is there like copyright attached to
Not copyright, but it's mainly you're trying to just achieve something that's never been done before, right?
Right.
You know, like when I see a devil, like when we were talking for the Onix movie about Abaddon, who's essentially the devil in his movie. You know, everyone's go-to devil is a video game devil, which is black. He's got the glowing cracks everywhere. His eyes are glowing orange. His mouth is glowing. He's got big horns. His hooves, like hardcore, like heavy metal devil. Seen it a million times. So, like, when I was trying to convince him about the devil, because he wanted a guy in a suit originally, and I was like, dude, what if he was 9 feet tall, but not a guy standing in a suit on stilts? What if he was crouching and he was 9-10 feet tall? And he's so alien and strange in this world. And then I'm a big history antique buff. Like I love old timey stuff. So I was like, well, when was the last time we saw a like a traditional lipstick red devil? It's only been executed a few times in movies. Only a few times has it been memorable in movies.
Yeah, I'm thinking like maybe Tenacious D is dumb of a...
Tenacious D, yeah. I mean, that's the traditional red, the goat legs,
yeah.
right? That's a very traditional one. Legend, I don't know if you've ever seen Legend. It's young Tom Cruise, Tim Curry, who's a wonderful actor, as the devil. It's probably one of the most famous movie devils.
Yeah.
Giant black horns, just red face, like giant, six-pack abs. And that, I think, from a, like, practical effects devils in movies, that's probably one of the most famous traditional red devils. So I was like trying to convince him of, let's go full traditional on this devil. Let's make him lipstick red. Let's give him black horns. I gave him like a goatee and a evil man mustache because it was so silly, and that's such like a 50s it's kind of like early 1900s style of devil. Yeah. But it's also a very 1950s, like Snidely Whiplash, like bad guys in the 50s and 60s cartoons always had like point, like, like Wario. They always have,
They're always like playing with their hands.
Exactly. So I was like, what if it's like that too? Like it's just so silly and weird, but also like creepy. And he was like all for it. And then like our box demon in that movie, he was letting me go bold. With colors, it's actually rainbow and polka dotted with feathers, and it's so silly, and he sneezes glitter. And then our ghouls are like lime green and turquoise and just so silly. And it's mainly because if you go to any shop, creature shop, and you say, I need ghouls, I need zombies, you get the Walking Dead zombies. You get the zombies we see everywhere. The Last of Us. Have you started watching that show?
No.
Last of Us on HBO. Cool zombies, but it's just still a spin on The Walking Dead kind of like it's still just,
like once you've seen one, you've kind of seen it all a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So my whole thing is I don't ever remember seeing a creepy, realistic-y looking turquoise zombie, lime green zombie, right? This is kind of like, I never really thought about that. Yeah. You see it in cartoons
looking
and
sickly
stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it in cartoons, but you've never seen it to an extreme. So I kind of like that. I like pushing things to be like, you can go to another shop and you can come up with something probably pretty generic because that's usually what people want. That's what directors want. They'll say like, hey, I want a zombie like this Walking Dead show. It's kind of what's popular now. But like working with Andrew and working with other filmmakers, I want to try to be a shop to where you don't come to KreatureKid to be like, hey, I'm working on the zombie movie. I just want some zombie gore and like kind of Walking Dead stuff or like, everything you see. I want people to come to my shop and be like, hey, think of something crazy that no one's ever seen before because we want something very interesting. And it's spooky because people might, it's risky because people might go, oh, those zombies were really stupid looking. Why are they freaking those colors? But I think, hopefully, especially in the Onix movie, you see what we're capable of and how going bold is the right move. because it does stand out from the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned when I was young. I used to do conventions, I was like 14, 15. And I learned pretty quickly, if you're at a convention and you have a booth, everyone has the same kind of booths, and everyone's like, everyone's 5 feet tall and you can't see over their shoulders. So when I would do conventions, I would have lights, I'd have music, I'd have fake trees, I'd have a living room set up, and I'd have giant monsters in it. I used to just make the craziest, put on a show so that in a crowd of all kind of the same generic things, it stands out. That's the most important thing. So I'm trying to do that as a company with monsters that I make.
Yeah, dude. No, that's exactly it. So with this Onix movie, they just they gave you a script and you just read it. Did you guys meet about the ideas? Did some of the ideas change as you kind of went about?
Yeah, they kept getting weirder.
Yeah.
They kept getting weirder. He didn't think, I suggested lime green turquoise ghouls. I was like, hear me out. This might sound weird, but what if this demon was rainbow? What if this demon had polka dots?
Yeah.
Even the devil, I was like, might be really weird, but what if he has a leopard print loincloth? And he was like, all right, man, just do it.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Is it a weird movie from what you've seen?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Yeah.
It's funny and it's creepy. This is weird.
Yeah.
It's
is
so
it
weird.
on the scary side or is it?
No, it's not scary at all. It's not scary at all. I try to not. I lean away from gore. I'm not a gore guy. I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't think I would ever want to take on a gory job.
Yeah.
Severed, people getting their heads cut off. It's just boring to me. It's not fun. So, but yeah, it's a pretty great movie, and we already have 2 more features lined up.
That's crazy.
And then commercials and stuff. So now I'm like, shoot, this actually worked. So now I gotta figure out how to pay taxes and crap. It's a nightmare, man. It's the worst.
Taxes is the worst, man.
It's
Taxes
the worst.
is the worst.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
But that's the whole idea. I never thought of this. I was about to retire. I threw in the towel, and during COVID, I was like, this is the stupidest thing. I was like, I just want to be that weird guy who just makes stuff in the middle of the woods and just be like an old hippie and just kind of retire.
Just living off the woods, just no electricity.
I was like, I just want to buy a cool old house, like a fixer-upper, have a shed in the back where I just sculpt monsters. And I was ready. I was kind of done. I moved back here. I was getting ready to sell.
And this is from LA, right?
Yeah.
You moved here from LA.
Yeah, I was getting ready to sell the house that I have here and pack my mom up. And we were going to go move to the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I was starting to pack stuff up, and I was starting to just be like, all right, this is what it is now. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't really like the industry anymore. And then I got that job offer. And then I was like, well, it's too cool of an opportunity to pass up. And then, and now it's just snowballed.
Yeah.
Now there's not a way to move.
Fell in love with it again, yeah.
Well, no, definitely not.
No.
It was more of just what else is there to do? If that was my plan, why not try this first? Because I could still do that later. That's still the plan.
Yeah.
Is to be that weird dude in the woods making crap.
That would be so weird.
It sounds so nice.
It'd be cool if you just made stuff like that and just left it in the woods for other people to a real Sasquatch. I swear to God, I've seen this. It's just standing there.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it seems to be working out, and working with people is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Working with artists who are naturally moody people is a freaking nightmare.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to go oh, I'm really good at getting the best out of people.
Yeah.
I could see someone, I could see their skill level, and I can kind of bring it out.
Yeah.
Trying to make them better.
Yeah, people management, man, that's tough. And that's something, even with my company and stuff, I had to learn along the way, right? Because if you don't trust your ability to delegate, you got to let people fuck up. And that's kind of something I learned the wrong way. Before I knew it, I was doing everybody's job for them. Yeah. Just because I'm you're going to mess this up, I'll just do it. Yeah. But, those are all teaching moments.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the worst.
What about when you were in LA, right, and you were trying your hand at the industry, I guess, Did you start that already making monsters? Is that like how you kind of got into the industry, or were you like holding the lights trying to learn the industry?
No, yeah, I just came in and I got hired at $8 an hour to start sculpting.
Sweet.
First movie was Percy Jackson 2.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I've seen the first one.
Yeah.
Never got into it.
Yeah. But no, I worked on a bunch of stuff, and I started out as a sculptor, which usually you don't. That already was pretty sweet, starting out as a sculptor and kind of learning the ropes there and then learning the steps. But, I mean, I worked on, where's some of the ones you know? But I basically started as a sculptor, and then eventually I kind of worked my way up to a concept artist. That's like up there a little bit, right? Yeah. You're out of the shop and you're in the design room.
Okay.
And now you're kind of coming up with ideas.
Okay.
But I was a concept artist on, not like one of like The Predator is what it was called. It was one of the Predator movies.
Yeah.
I was a concept artist for Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Ooh.
I did some designs of Mothra, some designs of King Ghidorah. What else? I worked on like the Annabelle franchises. I was sculpting some stuff there. The Nun, which is in that kind of same world, spooky movies. But it was just kind of like, I hate having a boss that's like, nope, it needs to look more like this.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, now I get to do that.
Yeah.
And I catch myself.
Yeah.
Someone's sculpting, I literally just like do this while they're in the bathroom and just like, bleh, and then they come back and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm like my boss now.
Yeah.
But I get it. Because, they're the boss. It's their vision.
Yeah.
Right. And so now I got to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, LA was great. LA was wonderful. I encourage everyone who's learning to go to LA and intern and try to get a job at shops to just learn the basics. I also encourage everyone to not go to school. Like I said, I'm anti-school for pretty much
Here's
everything.
the message. Public service announcement.
Dude, I've had
drop out.
Yeah, I've had schools be like, hey, you want to come talk at the school? And I was like, I'm just going to say, get out of school. I'm just going to say, don't go to college because it's a scam.
Yeah.
Especially in the arts.
Yeah.
I say, go intern.
Yeah.
It's free instead of paying someone to do it. Watch YouTube. It's all on YouTube. It's all on. There's this it's called the Stan Winston School. That's one where it is like, I think it's like $300 for like a full year.
Wow.
But it's everything you need to know.
Oh, that's like virtual, like online school?
You just watch videos.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Dude, it's so crazy. The internet's just kind of opened up, especially in, different lanes like that, right? I mean, if you want to be a doctor, go to school.
Yeah.
You don't want the doctors quitting school,
If you're required to go to school to do it, yes.
Go to school.
The arts, though, don't go to school.
Yeah, dude.
Don't do it. If you did it, that sucks. If you're doing it, stop it now. That's what I say. Before you have to owe even more money.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
Because really in the arts, no matter what it is, it just depends on how hard you work.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all it is. Everyone's like, I want to be a good sculptor. But then I see them and they're not sculpting every second of the day. So
right.
Like, okay, well they're not. They're not studying anatomy books, right?
Yeah.
They're not copying things or like, it's pretty easy to spot whether or not someone would become a good sculptor. Or they're just closed-minded and they're not wanting to learn or listen to me, pretty much. Or I give them notes and like, yeah, but, I wasn't really going for that. I'm kind of doing my own thing. I'm like, all right, well then, you got to be open to like, when I was starting out sculpting, I'd freaking be asking everybody, like all these old sculptor dudes, tips and tricks, and I'd look at their tools. I'd take a photo of their tools, and I'd try to make my own version of that tool. I'd see how they were like blocking stuff out and how they were working with anatomy. Sculptors always bring in books, right? They always bring in like anatomy books or like animal books and kind of pull reference from there. So I would like take photos of the books and go buy those books. I had those ones. But freaking most people are just lazy.
Yeah.
I'm super lazy.
Yeah.
As I get older, I'm getting more and more lazy. And I'm like, man, I was freaking crazy when I was a kid.
Yeah, dude. I mean, especially when you're passionate about something, I think it's very easy for you to just fall down this rabbit hole of just, the pursuit of like perfection. And then you look up, it's been like 5 years and you're just like still in that world,
Yeah.
But also with these new platforms, ever since Netflix or like the way that media is like now distributed. I think we just want more, you know?
Yeah.
We just want more movies, more shows, more like that's one thing. I'll be scrolling through Netflix for like 40 minutes and I've seen everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
how have I seen everything?
Yeah.
I've seen it all. But it's cool that as these are coming up, so do different movies, different ideas. And so, you know, I think it'll be a while before you're in the woods making these, unless I'm wrong.
I know, and that's what's interesting, right? Is there isn't a lack of work. It's only getting
Right.
crazier because there is so much of a demand for more content, right? Everybody needs content. Every YouTuber has a show.
Yeah.
Every network wants to purchase that show or that IP and make their own thing, right?
Yeah.
But there is a lack of good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lack of good stuff. Right?
So in your Kreature shop, besides doing stuff for movies, do you make like one-off commission pieces? How does that look?
Oh yeah, okay. So I make fine art pieces.
Yeah.
Which is my one-off pieces. That started early on. I would always, because I was crazy when I was younger, when I got to LA, I would have a day job working in the shop, sculpting.
Yeah.
And then to get into different departments to show that you could paint, to show that you can design, they need to see you do it. So I would be like, hey, can I stay after hours and just work on my own stuff?
Yeah.
So I would stay till about midnight or 1 a.m. till they kicked me out, working on my own stuff, showing them I could sculpt original designs, I could paint, I could build my own things. And then I did that every single night until they gave me keys to the shop. And then I would literally like sleep in the shop. I had like a little mattress and stuff on some nights. And I would just build these fine art pieces. And then eventually, you know, they'd be purchased by someone who has a lot of money, and then I'd sell that and I'd roll that money into making another piece. And then eventually I would get commissions to do pieces. And I started somehow, because I just loved making hyper realistic cartoons. It was something I always liked. I started working with people in the cartoon industry. So I'd do like a voice actor, D. Bradley Baker, who was the goldfish in American Dad, Klaus. Do you remember him?
Yeah, dude.
He commissioned me to do a hyper realistic Klaus. I did a Mojo Jojo from Powerpuff Girls for the creator of Powerpuff Girls. The one that went viral, we were talking about how my YouTube and my TikTok blew up over COVID randomly, was Grunkle Stan from Gravity Falls. I built that for the creator of the show. Meat Canyon on YouTube. He does a bunch of beautiful, creepy animations. I built a piece from his YouTube television show, Monster Lab. I did a character called Cats for him as a fine art piece.
So they're mainly like, those are still for, you know, a specific set of people. So like, you know, my question is, you've been calling it a Kreature shop, but people don't just roll in and like, hey, I want this, or do they?
Some do.
Yeah.
Some do, like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like someone will come to me as not a Kreature shop wanting something for their movie, but as a person who wants something for their office.
Yeah.
Or
But they
for their
actually like
gallery.
walk in there.
No, it's all online.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just Instagram is that's
Yeah.
where my business is.
Okay.
Yeah, they just email me or through my website or something. But yeah, they get a hold of me and they say, I want this thing. And you just make it. How much is it to make this thing? And I just do that. But what I'm trying to do, which is why I was so impressed by this amazing studio we're in, is I'm trying to be a filmmaker. That's kind of the end goal, is I want to be a director. So I've always been following and fascinated by people who do crowdfunding to get projects done.
Yeah.
Meat Canyon did a Kickstarter for his YouTube television show, Monster Lab. Successful, made the show. Onix, the movie, like I said, was a Kickstarter funded feature.
Okay.
I've worked in my past jobs at one point, kind of before I left the industry in LA, I was working at one point on 2 feature films that were Kickstarter funded short films that then somehow got picked up through a company to get funding for a feature. So I was like, well, I see a pattern here. It's easy to see a pattern here. As well as seeing how many filmmakers have made a little video, especially in the horror genre, a little YouTube video. Mama was a short YouTube film. Became a feature.
That was scary.
And then that director went on to create the It.
Yeah.
Right, It 1 and Chapter 2. The guy who directed Shazam He started out as a
Like with
guy.
Shaq? Or no, the
Shazam.
That's a different one.
It was in that same like.
Like Shazam, and then he turns
Shazam
into
that
yeah,
right.
okay.
That director did a YouTube video with his wife, a horror YouTube video, and then that became a movie called
crazy.
Lights Out, and from that movie he got Shazam.
Dang.
So I also see a pattern of like, okay, you don't need to make a feature on your own. You just need to make
Like a
really
concept.
good short.
Yeah.
A really good short film. So I did a Kickstarter a few months ago, and I got a successful Kickstarter to do my first actual. I've done like music videos and like little short like artsy things, but this is funding for an actual short film, dialogue, story, sets. That's a 1930s jungle adventure horror short film.
Okay.
Talking puppets and adventure stuck in quicksand, like just the silliness.
Yeah.
Something I've always wanted to see, something no one would be able to do without.
So it's going to be all puppets?
No, there's live actors.
Okay.
But there is the creatures of the island are puppets. Like Labyrinth. You ever see Labyrinth with David Bowie?
No, I don't
Dude,
think
you're
so.
terrible at movies.
Bro, I'm going to go back through this podcast. I have a specific like set of movies I like, but I'm going to go back through this podcast and just watch all of these movies.
That's awesome.
Anything behind like the year I was born is typically hard for me to watch.
Yeah, what is that, like 1995?
Yeah, 95. But,
Dude.
my favorite movie is like Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Big Quentin Tarantino fan.
Well, watch The Labyrinth with David Bowie.
Yes.
It's a wonderful movie.
Well, let me know when this Kickstarter thing gets going. If you need like a little background guy, I'll just be
Heck yeah.
guy number 3.
Yeah.
Throw me in there.
But that's the gamble is
Yeah.
try to make a short film. And what is, just like I do with the industry, creature design, what do I see everybody doing short films?
Yeah.
And what's something that no one is doing that's so different and that will stand out and it's just weird? A jungle adventure horror puppet thing.
By the KreatureKid.
Yeah, never seen it.
Yeah.
No one's going to do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, okay, I think that might work.
Yeah.
Well, is that sellable to a studio to hire me to make a feature of some sort?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but it makes me happy.
Yeah. You might end up in the Amazon rainforest, though. You might end up
Yeah,
in a real jungle.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. Stand out. That's the goal and the note for everybody.
Yeah.
Is to stand out from the crowd. It's pretty easy to see what they're not doing. At least for me it is.
Yeah.
But if you just observe what the competition's doing, I guess is what it is, as much as I hate the word competition.
Yeah.
But just see what the mass is doing and just try to do something that's
Opposite. Different.
Go against the grain. It's stupid advice, but
It's working out.
I don't know. For me, it's interesting. You just have to be bold and get freaky and get a little risky because people might think it's weird or not like it or think it's stupid. But what are they doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some life advice for you kids. If you do need to go to school, they'll go to school. But if you don't,
just don't go to school. Just don't ever go to school.
don't ever go to school, folks.
As soon as you're 18, get out. Just leave it. Just stop it. Just stop doing that.
Absolutely. Well, man, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
This is literally just kind of blown my mind. This is why I wanted to have you on here. Just a completely different world perspective, but at the same time, I hear what you're saying, and I'm so impressed by the journey you've had.
Cool.
And I'm gonna go watch this movie Onix. I'm gonna
dude, it's
download
great.
that. I want to see
It's
the
great.
devil in live action.
He's cool.
You know?
He's scary. He's great. He's really cool. I like it a lot. And the
Well,
audio.
sweet. Well, let me have you on here after some other time, because I feel like
Thank
we
you,
still
man.
got more to talk about. I
Yeah.
want to pick your brain.
You should come by the shop. You get a kick out of it.
Absolutely. I'll hit you up for that. Hey, guys,
Yeah.
where can the people follow you?
KreatureKid.
KreatureKid.
But Kreature with a K. So it's K. Kreature. K with a K. All one word, too.
KreatureKid. Follow KreatureKid. Follow him on the gram and check out the new movie Onix. He has a ton of pieces on there that I think you guys will get a kick out of. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah,
bro.
thank you. Thanks, everyone.
We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.